In this tutorial, we are going to make this cute little kawaii coffee cup. And before we jump into it, I would just like to ask you to click on subscribe and like to support my channel. So I'm in a new startup file. And first of all, I'm going to select my camera and shift select my light, press M to move to new collection, call it cam and light, click on create. And here in the outliner, I'm just going to hide this folder so it's not in the way. Next, I'm going to click on my cube. This is default when you open up Blender. I'm going to press X to delete and just click on delete it. Press 1 on your numpad to go to front view. Press Shift A to add, mesh, and plane. And then straight away tab into edit mode. Make sure you're in vertex mode. That's 1 on your keyboard, or you can click on it here. Press A to select all, press M to merge and click on center. So you're left with one single vertex. Just going to zoom in and just make sure that your vertex is selected, just box select it, just in case it's not. And then we can start extruding it. So E to extrude on the X, and I'm going to extrude it to about 4 Blender units around here. E to extrude on the Z, pull it up just a little bit. E to extrude again, and just keep extruding and trying to make it look like a little cup. So we want it to be about this high. I think maybe these can come out just a little bit like that. This one, G, and just round it a little bit by moving this vertex. Select this vertex again, E to extrude on the X and move it inwards, and then E to extrude on the Z like that. E to extrude again here, E to extrude, E to extrude. I'm trying to follow the outside line. E to extrude here. And then the last one, E to extrude on the X, and I'm just going to pull it here to this line. So that's great. So that's pretty much the shape of my cup. Now I'm going to tab back into object mode, pull this up a little bit, go to my modifiers, add modifier, generate, and we want the screw modifier. So that's it. This is my little cup here. And I'm going to press Ctrl 3 to add the subdivision surface modifier and make sure that the render is also ticked on 3. Let's tab back into edit mode, go to X-ray mode. What we want is to add a loop cut here. So Ctrl R, click once, and then press GG and pull this down right there. I'm going to select these 3 and I'm going to make this a little bit wider, like G and X. And I'm going to make another loop cut here and press GG to pull this one down like that. Make sure it doesn't overlap, but pull it down as much as you can. Let's zoom in just so you can see it. And then let's do another loop cut, confirm it with a click, and then GG and pull it up. So we sharpen the bottom like that. And we want to do the same up here. So Ctrl R, click, GG, and pull it up. And also on the inside, so Ctrl R, click, GG, and slide it up like that. So now, if I come out of X-ray mode, my cup is nice and sharp on the edges and nice and round on the sides. So that's great. Right, let's tab back to object mode and go to this drop-down menu on my screw modifier, click on it and apply. Tab back to edit mode and you want to go to top view with numpad 7. I'm going to select all with A, and what I want is the x-axis to be in the middle of one of these slices, so to speak. So I'm going to press R, Z, and holding down Shift for small increments, I'm going to just rotate my shape like that. So it's roughly in the middle, and click to confirm it. Now let's go to side view, come out of X-ray mode, and we want to add a couple of more loop cuts first. So first of all, I'm going to do 2 here, like that. I'm going to do 1 here, and this one, click once with your left mouse button, but before you click again, pull it up to around here. So that's great. And I want to do another loop cut here. So Ctrl R, like that. Click once and then pull it down just a little bit like that. Go to edge mode with 2, hold down Alt and select this edge loop. Press GG and just slide it towards there a little bit. And then hold down Alt and select this edge loop. Press GG and just slide it here roughly. Okay, so that's great. So now we have this face and this face, which I'm going to use to make a handle. So what I want is to place my 3D cursor right in between these two. So move your mouse there, press Shift right click and move your 3D cursor there. Let's go to front view. And what we want is to extrude these two faces on the x-axis like this, just a little bit. And this face, I'm going to press R to rotate it and S to scale it down just a little bit like that. Okay, great. Now select this face, the top one, go back to front view, and we are going to use this tool here. It's called the spin tool. Click on it. And up here, you want to take the y-axis. So you'll see this arch right here. The steps, I'm going to change it to 6 because 12 is a little bit too much. And now grab this little thing or click on it and you can start to pull it out like that. And then after that, just go back to your select tool. Right, now what I want is to bridge these two faces. So I'm going to go to edge mode. That one is already selected and I'm just going to hold down Shift to select those as well. Go to my edge menu and click on bridge edge loops. So that's great. Now it does look a little bit funky right now. So we need to clean up just a little bit. So Alt click on this edge loop. So you can see it's all selected. Press R to rotate it and then G and Z to move it up. Alt click on this one, R to rotate it, G a little bit. This one as well. This one. So I'm just cleaning up the shape a little bit to make it look better by selecting the edge loops and rotating them. So that's great. Now I'm going to go to vertex mode. Select all of these vertices and I want to lift them up by enabling proportional editing. So if I press G and I start to move it up on the Z, the problem is the whole mug is moving with it. So what we want is to go to the select menu, click on invert, so everything else is selected, and then you press H to hide it. And now if you select these vertices, for example, press G and Z and start to move it up. Actually, I'm just going to select these. So G and Z, I'm moving it up like that. Then it makes a nice handle shape. Alt H to bring your shape back. Go back to edge mode and hold down Alt, just select this one and press R to rotate it. Oh, proportional edit should have been off, but that's okay. Right, now come out of X-ray mode. We just want to basically sort out this ugliness here, make it nice and sharp. So press Ctrl R to do a loop cut here. Click once and then slide it almost all the way to the end. And then click again. So that looks much better, and do the same on the bottom. So Ctrl R, one click, and then slide and click again to confirm. Right. The other thing I've done is to Alt click on this edge and also Shift Alt click on this edge. And to go to your transform panel, and I increased the mean crease just a little bit to around 1. And then did the same with the outside. So Alt left click on one and then Shift Alt left click on the other one and just increase the mean crease. Let me just check. I probably scaled this one down by accident. So S to scale and make it bigger. S to scale on the Y. Here you go. I'm not sure when I did that, but that's fine. Okay. And to get rid of this panel, and if you go to object mode, now you should have lovely little coffee cup with a handle. Right, so let's make a saucer. Let's go to top view with numpad 7. Press Shift S and move your cursor toward origin. Press Shift A to add, mesh, cylinder. And I think 12 vertices should be enough. Press S to scale it up to about this size. Go to front view with numpad 1. S to scale it on the Z to about this size, and then just G and Z to bring it down roughly around here. Okay, so that's great. Now press Ctrl A to apply the scale. Tab into edit mode. 3 to go to face mode. Select these two faces, the top and the bottom, and press I to inset to around here. And press G and Z to just bring it down a little bit like that. So that's great. Now I'm going to make a loop cut on the top. One left click to confirm the number of the loop cut and then pull it around here and then left click again. Go to face mode, hold down Alt, and you want to click on one of these edges between the faces here and then just press E to extrude it upwards like that. So that's great. Let's make another loop cut. So Ctrl R, and this time you want to pull it outwards like that. Go back to face mode, select this face loop, press E to extrude on the Z and just pull it up a little bit like that. So that's great. Now you want to do a little edge down here as well. So Ctrl R on the bottom, one left click, pull it in the middle, go to face mode, select this face loop, E to extrude and just pull it down to around here. And that's great. And I think I'm going to select this edge loop with holding down Alt and clicking and press GG just to move it up a little like that. And press Ctrl B to bevel it with 2 bevels. That's great. And then holding down Alt, I'm going to select this edge and just press Ctrl B and bevel it. Make sure it doesn't overlap. So that's great. This one as well. So Ctrl B to bevel and then holding down Alt and selecting this edge loop and holding Shift Alt and clicking on it, selecting that edge loop as well. And then Ctrl B and just bevel it like that. Okay. Let's tab into object mode. Press Ctrl 3 and that will add the subdivision surface modifier. So that looks great. I think we just need one more loop cut in a minute. But first, right click, shade smooth. We can also shade smooth on the cup, although it is quite smooth. Right, so let's step back into edit mode. Ctrl R to make a loop cut here. One click and then just pull it in here, almost all the way in like that. And that's so much better. Maybe we can clean up there as well. So I'm just going to press Alt Z to go into X-ray mode. Go to face mode, select this bottom face, press I to inset it. And then now you can do a loop cut there. So Ctrl R, one click and just pull it out like that. Go to face mode again. I'm just going to go back into X-ray mode and select that face. Press I to inset, Ctrl R like that, and then just pull it out to make it nice and sharp. Okay, so that's great. Let's come out of X-ray mode, go to front view. Actually, let's stay in perspective view. I can see it better. G and Z and just bring it up like that. So that's great. I can just see in my mug, if I go back into edit mode and select this edge loop, I'm just going to slide it a little bit, and this edge loop as well. There was a little bit of a sharp edge around my handle. Okay, now it's better. So that's great. Right, let's go back to front view. And I'm going to click here, roughly, maybe just a little bit further down. Press Shift-A to add Mesh UV Sphere. And I'm just going to scale it down to around this size. Go to side view, press S to scale on the Y and make it nice and flat, like that. Go to top view, press R and rotate it like that. So that's great. Right click, shade smooth, and then go to your modifiers, add modifier, generate mirror. Now it's by default mirroring on the x-axis, so there is a reflection, but it's right underneath it, or it's in the same position. So what we want is click on this eyedropper tool, go to the mug and select it as the mirror object. So now the eye appeared on the other side. So that's great. Now I'm going to click here. So Shift right click somewhere around in the middle. Shift A to add mesh plane. I'm going to press S to scale it down to around this size. Go to side view, scale on the Y and make it small like that. Now tab into edit mode and I'm just going to move my 3D cursor somewhere else so I can see what I'm doing. Go to X-ray mode and what I want is a loop cut right in the middle. So Ctrl R, double left click. And now press Ctrl B and bevel it like that. So that 7 extra edges there and then click to confirm it. Actually, it's 6. My apologies. Right. You want to select the middle one. Turn on proportional editing, press G, and you want to make sure that the circle of influence is around all of it. and then press Z and bring it down like that. That's great. Tap back into object mode. Press Ctrl A to apply the scale. We can do that on the eyes as well. And now go to your modifiers, add modifier, generate, solidify. It's already added some thickness to it, but I'm just going to increase it to about this size. So here you can decrease or increase the size of the thickness. I'm just going to scale on the Y a little bit more, and then G and Y to move it closer to the mug. That's great. Maybe G and Z to bring it upwards like that. I'm going to come out of X-ray mode so I can see better. Hold it a little bit too much. That's great. And then Ctrl 3 to add the subdivision surface modifier with 3 levels, and make sure to change the render to 3 as well. And I think I'm going to just increase the thickness a little bit to about this size. Right click on the mouth, shade smooth, and there it is. Our little smiley kawaii coffee mug. So in this tutorial, I'm going to add coffee, some foam, and a little platform as well. You don't have to follow along if you don't want to, but you want to press Shift S, cursor to word origin, Shift A to add, mesh, and you want to add a circle. I'm going to set the vertices to 24. Turn on X-ray so you can see it. And then S to scale it up to around this size. Press Ctrl A to apply the scale, and then tab into edit mode. Right. First of all, I'm going to go to the face menu and click on Grid Fill to fill it up. Then press 1 to go to vertex mode. Alt A to deselect everything. Go to the select menu and click on select random. And then I'm just going to press G and Z and lift them up just a little bit like that. Let's just select all, go to front view and press G and Z and move it up to around here. And now if you go into object mode and click shade smooth, so right click shade smooth, then you can see it's not even. And that's what we want. Maybe we can do a little bit more. So deselect all, select random, and then just G and Z to move it up like that. I mean, you won't really see it until you actually added materials to it. So that's great. So now we have coffee. Now I'm going to go to top view with numpad 7, shift right click. So my 3D cursor is actually on the top of the coffee. Shift A to add, mesh, and I'm going to add another circle. Maybe 16 vertices will be enough for this one, I think. And then just S to scale it down to about this size. Ctrl A to apply the scale. Tab into edit mode and go to front view with numpad 1 and turn on X-ray. And then you just want to press E to extrude on the Z and pull it up a little bit to around there, just above the edge of the coffee cup. And now you want to do the same. So fill in the faces with grid fill. Select everything with A, press G and Z and just pull it down like that. Go to edge mode and you want to alt click on one of these edges. It's not going to select the whole edge loop, but if you hold down Alt Shift and go around it, it will select all of it. You want to press Ctrl B and bevel it, maybe a few less, like that. Make sure it doesn't overlap. Go to vertex mode, select these vertices, turn on proportional editing, press G and Z and just pull it up like that. And then maybe just this one, G and Z, and pull it up like that. So we have a little foam up there. Get out of X-ray mode, tab into object mode, and then just shade smooth. Actually, I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier with 3 levels, so Ctrl 3. So that's quite cute. Maybe just G and Z to lift it up a little bit like that. Okay, let's go back to top view, and I'm going to shift right click somewhere around here, shift A to add, mesh, and I'm going to add the cylinder. 12 vertices should be enough, and then you want to press S to scale it down to about this size. Go to front view, S to scale on the Z and scale it down to about this size. Ctrl A, apply the scale, tab into edit mode. Let's just zoom in. Go to edge mode with 2, hold down Alt and select this edge loop, and then Shift Alt to select that edge loop. And then you want to press Ctrl B and bevel those edges like that. That looks good. Tap back into object mode, Ctrl 3 to add the subdivision surface modifier, and then just shade smooth. I think what I'm going to do is just this one, I'm going to slide inwards, and also this one. So I'm just selecting the edge loop with Alt, press GG and move it inwards. This one as well, GG. And then this one, press GG. I should really turn proportional editing off. I just want to round the edges a little bit. Let's have a look now. Okay, perfect. Right, so this is going to be my little cookie. And now I'm going to shift right click somewhere here. It doesn't really matter. Shift A to add, mesh, and I went with a UV sphere. Scale it down until it's very small. G and Z, like that. G and X, and pull it here. Let's just scale it just a little bit more. And then just duplicated it and made some chocolate chips. So Shift D to duplicate and start placing them randomly on the cookie. Do one more, put it here. So that's it. That's my chocolate chip cookie done. Maybe just a few more. Who doesn't like a chocolate chip cookie? Right. And now I'm going to box select my whole cookie, press G and move it here. Go to front view, G and Z, just put it next to my coffee, and then G, and then R to rotate it just a little bit like that. And then I made another cookie. So Shift D to duplicate it, put it here, go to side view, R to rotate it just a little bit here. So look in front view, R to rotate it. And that's great. Right, there was one more thing I've done, so let's go to top view. Shift S, cursor to bird origin. Shift A to add, mesh, cylinder. You can leave it on the 12 and then just press S to scale, make it nice and big. Go to front view with numpad 1, S to scale on the Z, make it about this big. G and Z and bring it down there. Maybe S to scale on the Z just a little bit more. G and Z. Ctrl A to apply the scale. And then what we want is in edit mode, again, hold down Alt, select this edge, select that edge loop as well. Ctrl B to bevel it. And we just want to make it a sharp bevel, so like this. So we just want to round down the edges, but we don't want to make it too round. Tap back into object mode, Ctrl 3 to add the subdivision surface modifier with 3 levels, both in the level viewport and in the render, and then just right click, shade smooth. That's great. Now, one more thing I've done, and this is the last object we add. Press 7 to go to top view. Shift A to add mesh plane. And you want this plane to be nice and big, so about this big. Let's zoom out. G and Y to move it a little bit towards the back, like that. Go to front view, press G and Z and pull it down. So that's gonna be the little floor. I think I'm going to just scale it up a little bit more to about this size. Ctrl A, apply the scale. Tab into edit mode. And you want to move it just a little bit towards the back, but you want to do it in object mode. So G and Y, so the origin point doesn't move. Right, tap back to edit mode, Ctrl R, and you want to do a loop cut right here, and double click to confirm it. Select this edge, go to side view with 3 on your numpad, press G, and then just make a 90 degrees out of it. And then you want to select this edge, press Ctrl B to bevel it, and then just pull it up like that. Okay, great. Tap back into object mode and just shade smooth. Right, for the colors, I went into my shading workspace and I'm just going to join these 2 areas. So with this crosshair, you can pull it upwards and it will join the areas. So this is my shader editor and this is my 3D viewport. Let's color my scene. So I'm going to start with this. This is my wooden platform. Here, you want to edit a new material. Let's zoom out so you can see it. So you have your principled BSDF here and the material output. I'm going to call this wooden brown. Click. And then for the base color, I have a color code. You can play around with whatever color you want. That's absolutely fine. But if you want to use what I used this color. So this is my color code. And for the roughness, I pulled it down a little bit to around 0.3. So it's a little bit shiny. If you pull the roughness up, it's going to be rough, zero shininess. If you pull it all the way down, it's going to be very shiny. So 0.3, between 0.3 and 0.4, it's perfect. Right, let's click on the saucer, edit a new material, and let's call it purple ceramic. And for the saucer, I also have a color code, but again, you can add whatever color you want. I went with a pastel purple color, and this is my color code, so you can copy it. And I pull down the roughness again to around 0.3. Click on the mug, and instead of adding a new material, click on this drop-down menu and just select the purple ceramic. So that's great. Now let's go to the eyes, edit a new material, and let's call it eyes black. For the base color, I went almost all the way down to black. I left it a little bit grayish, and I pulled up the roughness to around 0.8, so it's not as reflective. But for the eyes, I'm going to create a slot. So go to this drop-down menu, click on the plus sign. That's created a new slot. And for this new slot, I'm adding a new material called eyes white. And for that, I brought down the roughness, left it on the white color. And here in the 3D viewport, let's zoom in. I went into edit mode, 3 to go to face mode, and just selected a couple of faces like that. You can add more, you can add less, it's fine. And then you go back to your slot, click on the eyes white and assign it. And now you can see that little part is white. So that's quite cute. For the mouth, you can just add the eyes black material, that's fine. And then let's go to the cookie dough part, edit a new material. Let's call it cookie dough, that's enough. Go to the base color, again, whatever color you want. This is the code I used. And then you just want to pull up the roughness all the way. Now click on the other cookie and then shift click on the one that already has a color. So that's your active object. Press Ctrl L, link materials. And now they both have the same color. Now click on one of the chocolate chips, add the new material, call it choc chip. And again, I have a color code for it. I just made it a really nice dark brown like that. And I pulled down the roughness on it to about 0.3. Now let's zoom in. What you want is to select every single chocolate chip, which can be a little bit challenging. I should have put it in a collection. It would have been easier, but that's fine. So with all of them selected, click on the one that's already colored last. So that's your active object. Press Ctrl L, link materials. So that's quite cute. Right. So the next thing I want to color is the foam. So go to new material, call it foam. And again, I used a color code, which is this one. So if you want to copy it, then you can do so. And I pulled up the roughness to about 0.8 to make it nice and foamy. I want to do the coffee last. So I'm going to click on this. This is my background. And for the background, let's call it floor. I chose a minty green color, but again, it's absolutely up to you. This is the color I went with, and I pulled up the roughness all the way. So that's great. Right, here, go into the rendered view. So right now we don't really have lights and we don't have an HDRI setup just yet. So you want to scroll to where you see object, click on the drop-down menu and click on world. You have a background node and a word output node. So first of all, you want to press Shift A to add texture, environment texture, and pop it here. I'm just going to pull this because we are going to add a couple of nodes. Right. So for the environment texture, we want to add an HDRI. For that, you can go to the website polyhaven.com and choose one. It's absolutely up to you which one you want to choose. I went with this Photo Studio 01. So you click on the one you want to use. You can set up the resolution here. I just use 2K and then click on download and choose a folder where you download it to. So I'm just going to minimize this. Here you click on open and from your HDRI folder or whichever folder you used, choose the HDRI you downloaded. So mine is the Photo Studio. Click on it, and what you want is plug it into the color. So that's great. Now, another thing I've done is, because I don't really want the HDRI to show, but I want to use the light that comes from it, I clicked on the background node, press Shift-D to duplicate it and put it under here. And I wanted to mix up the strength of the light with a color. And for that, you press Shift-A, Shader, Mix Shader, and pop it in between the output and the background node, and just plug in the duplicate into the second slot. And there's one more node we need, and that is a light path. So Shift-A to add input light path and pop it here. And you want this output, the first one, camera ray, and plug it into the factor of the mix shader. Here you can add a color. It's absolutely up to you. I actually just went with a minty green color similar to my background or to my floor. It won't be visible, so it doesn't really matter. But the strength, I put it down to 0.7, so it's a little bit more contrasty, like that. Okay, from the Word tab, change it back to Object, and then finally we want to color the coffee. Now for that, first of all, I'm going to go to my render properties. I'm going to use the Eevee render engine because I need to use the ray tracing. So let's edit a new material. Let's call it coffee. And again, I have a color code for the coffee. It's this. If you want to copy it, you can see it there. And for the roughness, I brought it down to about 0.2 to make it look like coffee. Okay. Let's go back to the layout workspace, turn on the rendered view, and from your cam and light collection, make it visible. Select the light, go to top view with numpad 7 and just pull it roughly around here. Let's go to front view. Go to the light properties, and then with the color, you can add whatever color you want. I think I'm gonna go with something like this. But the power is a little bit too strong, so I'm going to bring it down to 150, and that's great. Right, so for the camera view, you want to click on this camera, and right now, this is what you see when you see through your camera. To be able to move around and not jump out of camera mode, you need to click on this little locket. And now, if you move around, you can set your scene however you want to. I think I'm just going to move my light a little bit closer and maybe set it to 50. That's better. So if you go to your render properties and scroll down all the way to the color management, you can change this to, for example, filmic, and change the contrast here at the look. So in my render, I set it to medium high contrast. I quite like this look. And here at the output properties, you can here change the folder where you want to save your final image. So I have the coffee cup folder, and here you can change the format of your final image. I'm going to stay on PNG. Finally, the last thing to do is to render it out. So either press F12 or go up here to your render tab, click on render image. And here we go. We have a lovely coffee cup with some chocolate chip cookies. So hopefully this tutorial was useful to you, and I would really appreciate if you clicked on subscribe and like to support my channel, and I will see you in the next video.